What a wild ride we're about to dive into. Buckle up, because we're revisiting the craziest F1 race in history, the 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix. Seriously, this race was so packed with drama and unexpected twists that it feels like a movie plot that should never have made it to the big screen. If you've ever seen this track, you know it's a real gem in the F1 calendar. Bernie Ecclestone, the man behind the curtain, was saying that if the local government couldn't help with the costs of hosting the race, Brazil might be out. Thankfully, a deal was struck, and the Brazilian GP was safe for a few more years. Phew, right? It's got those fast-flowing corners, crazy elevation changes, and the atmosphere. But then, in a twist of fate, Schumacher locked up and ran wide, letting both Raikkonen and Trulli slip right by him. With 12 laps to go, teams were scrambling to decide on tire choices. He was forced off the track and out of the race. It was like the universe was playing a cruel joke. And with that, the door swung wide open for Raikkonen, who just needed to finish ahead of Trulli to take the championship lead. Some went for intermediates, while others, including Schumacher, decided to stick with slicks. But here's where it gets really juicy. The stewards had actually messed up and penalized the wrong car. I tried to correct the car, but I was too late. The FIA launched a two-day inquiry into the events, with Bernie Ecclestone himself acting as the independent chairman. At one point, they even considered disqualifying Schumacher from the race and stripping him of his 8 constructors' titles. But in the end, they cleared him of intentionally crashing into Trulli. But the stewards weren't buying it. They handed him a 10-place grid penalty for the next race. Ouch! Can you imagine the tension in the pit? When team boss Jean Todt told Raikkonen about the mistake, he calmly replied, "I'm not taking any risks. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and follow for more thrilling content." Thanks for hanging out with me today. You could feel the weight of that decision hanging in the air. Everything that could possibly go wrong in an F1 race happened that day, making it one for the history books. It's no wonder it's remembered as one of the greatest races of all time. They argued that fitting for tires during a safety car period was illegal, but the FIA shot down their protests, and the original results stood. But let's be real. Here many still believe Schumacher was treated unfairly. The stewards had made mistakes, and had left a sour taste for some fans. Did Schumacher deserve the heat he got, or was it all just a big misunderstanding? Let's chat about it in the comments below. It's like the ultimate what-if scenario that keeps people talking for years. It was a whirlwind of controversy that kept fans buzzing long after the checkered flag waved. You could practically hear the collective gasp from fans as Schumacher re-emerged on the same strategy, passing both Trulli and Raikkonen to reclaim the lead. But guess what? That was enough to secure his very first championship title. What a moment, right? But the drama didn't end there. After the race, the stewards decided to investigate Schumacher's crash. They suspected he had intentionally crashed into Trulli, trying to sabotage his chance at a win and hand a championship to his teammate. Talk about accusations flying. It was a roller coaster, and I was here for every twist and turn. He had crashed into Trulli in almost the same spot where he had collided with Jacques Villeneuve the previous year. It was like déjà vu, but in the worst way possible. Trulli himself was convinced Schumacher had done it on purpose, saying, "If you see the footage, my car disappears, and then Michael arrives on the scene and crashes into me. If he wanted to crash, he could have done so 5 laps earlier. Why wait until the last lap?" It was a bold statement that added fuel to the fire. Oh man, it was like watching a heartbreaker unfold in slow motion. Absolutely electric. Fans packing the stands, cheering like there's no tomorrow. It's the kind of vibe that gets your heart racing even if you're just watching from home. So, let's rewind and set the stage. Picture this. It's 2003. And the Brazilian Grand Prix is hosted at the legendary Interlagos circuit in São Paulo. It was a nail-biter of a championship battle between two titans, Michael Schumacher and Kimi Raikkonen. Schumacher, being the fierce competitor he is, started clawing his way back up, setting fastest laps like he was on a mission. The intensity was palpable, and you could almost feel the tension crackling in the air. Can you believe they were just 2 points apart heading into this final race? The stakes couldn't have been higher. Both drivers were on fire during qualifying, but Schumacher snagged pole position, setting the stage for what was about to unfold. Now, back in the early 2000s, there was some serious chatter about F1 potentially ditching South America. Fast forward to the 2003 season, where the tension was thicker than a snow polo fog. As the lights went out, Schumacher had a less than stellar start, dropping back to 3rd place behind Raikkonen and his teammate Rubens Barrichello. Talk about a shocker. On lap 48, Schumacher made his second pit stop. rejoining the race just ahead of Jarno Trulli, who had pulled off a slick move to get past Raikkonen during the pit phase. And then, just when you thought you had it all figured out, the rain decided to join the party. But just when it looked like he was on the way to victory, disaster struck on the penultimate lap. A puncture. Can you believe it? But wait, there's more. When Raikkonen pitted, he was slapped with a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Talk about a gut punch. Despite having fresher tires, Raikkonen couldn't get past Trulli and finish second. Schumacher always denied those claims, but the evidence seemed pretty damning. Despite the overwhelming evidence, Schumacher maintained his innocence, claiming, "I lost control." But the saga didn't stop there. But wait, there's even more. Toyota, feeling the heat, protested the race results, claiming that Trulli had actually won. And that, my friends, is how Kimi Raikkonen clinched his first and only world championship title, in the most dramatic fashion possible. This race had it all. Crashes, controversies, red flags, penalties, and enough drama to fill a season of reality TV. What do you think about the wild events that unfolded at the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2003? If you enjoyed this wild ride through F1 history, don't forget to check out my next video.